What's going on, guys? Merrick here, back for some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet shiny hunts. We're just looking for shinies. And look at all these Chimecho. I absolutely love Chimecho. So um, we've got a couple more outbreaks. I got two of the Geodudes already. I'm not gonna bother trying to get a third one because, well, I have to have someone to trade to evolve it, and right now that's not a thing. So, Chimecho I still have that I need to get. Um, Sentret, I still gotta get Sentret. Uh, let's see, what else is there? I got Torkoal. I don't need more of these. I do need to go. I still need to get a Hoppip. I did not get a Hoppip yet. I have Shiny Psyduck. I have Slowbro. Um, I have this thing, Palmot, Palmo, whatever it is. Still need the bug thing. Um, and then there's Poplio. This is the one I'm most interested in. It's Chikorita. Definitely interested in the Chikorita. That's the one that I want to do. That's probably the one we're going to do first. Deerling, that one's a bitch because it's the same thing. Just the little like flower on its head is white instead of yellow. No matter which Deerling it is, I believe that's the only difference in the shiny. So it's really hard to see. Kind of like Floette and Flabebe and other little very subtle differences like that. Rhyhorn, I have one. I do need a second one, or two actually. I need two so I can have a Rhydon and a Rhyperior. But again, can't trade to evolve it, so that's a But I kind of want to have it just to have it. I want to go do Chikorita right now. Actually, I guess while we're here, I'll do a couple Chimechos. I already have this one set up, so that kind of helps a bit. Um, I've already done all the battling, so all I have to do right now. Come on. So now all we have to do right now is just keep picnic resetting, and eventually we'll find one. I don't have a sandwich or anything going right now, so that kind of But I don't really think I mean, the thing is, I have Shiny Charm, and Outbreaks have an increased Shiny chance, so I don't really need to do a whole lot. But if we don't find one after a while, we'll just after a few resets we'll do Chikorita. And Chimecho should be pretty easy to locate. And now I want to be zoomed in because it's fairly obvious. It's green and orange instead of white and red. I didn't even see that one. It blends straight into the dirt, the rock, whatever. Um, yeah, let's see some regular Chimechos. I love Chimecho for reasons I can't tell you. Because I don't know. Like it's always just been like this weak little thing that just doesn't do anything, but it's just super adorable. And it was always great during the anime. James had the Chimecho, and James was obviously one of the best characters in all of Pokemon, anyways. We just had this little Chimecho and just chime chime. Oh, I cannot do that right now. I've not had. What did I just do? I hit X by accident. That was not the. Oh, the wash thing. Yeah, I'm not about that. Well, it ain't bath time right now. It's shiny time. I mean, taking a bath will get you clean and shiny, but no, I want to find more shinies. So this game, well, I won't say this game, because Let's Go Eevee, and Pikachu, I had Eevee, made it easier to shiny hunt. And while I did enjoy the shiny hunting method, um, This is a little. This is easier to do, and I mean, I running around and visually looking for the shinies makes it feel like you're doing something, I guess. Whereas just you know, getting your catch combo, and I mean, granted, you can also run around and shit too, but when you have a lure up, it uses up that lure, and so I more or less just use the lure and then just stand there. I'll watch the things pop up, they'll disappear, new ones will spawn in, and I just kind of let that cycle go about on autopilot until a shiny pops up. Which I've had decent luck. I don't have the shiny charm in that game because I didn't complete the Pokedex. And as you guys have seen, if you've watched, I never finished the game because I got wrapped up in shiny hunting. And then yeah, so we're completing that playthrough almost 6 years later. No shinies. Okay. I want to go ahead and start working on Chikorita. I don't actually know which one's closer. And I absolutely adore Chikorita. I don't care who doesn't, because Chikorita is an awesome Pokemon, an awesome starter. I love the design of Chikorita and both of its evolutions. I will admit, yes, it is not the best Pokemon, but it's not terrible. And Mono Grass has actually got some advantages compared to, other types. It doesn't have, and granted, that means it's only Stab is Grass, but it eliminates its weaknesses, which already has a substantial amount of weaknesses. So, I don't like Chikorita as much as Bulbasaur, obviously, but I do absolutely love Chikorita. I want to make this something special. So who do I? I don't have a shiny. I don't have a. I was trying to think. What would be a good shiny? Or what would be a good Pokemon to have run around and do all this? I mean, I do have Cyndaquils because I was trying to hatch a shiny one. I do have a Rowlet, but I might use that. I think because it's Gen 2, I'll go with, well, I don't know, do I go Gen 2? Or do I just go with, I have another shiny Bulbasaur somewhere. I really need to reorganize these boxes. Because a lot of this shit is just shit that I caught from in-game. See, I have another shiny Bulbasaur. But does it get IV? It won't get IVs from... Yeah, I don't know. It may or it may not, I don't care. You can go back for now. It's fitting, I think, because of how much I do love Chikorita. So, I'm gonna go ahead and save, and then we'll do this. Bulbasaur. Well, I know how the way the battle shit does is like. But Bulbasaur's poison, so I think it evens out. I said you have to be careful and remember to pay attention to the thing, the messages, so I don't miss and kill too many of them. But yeah, I love Chikorita. Chikorita was actually my first starter in Gold and Silver because it's adorable. And I was a child at the time. And I still think it's adorable, even as an adult. I would honestly say I think... What the heck? There we go. I think if it wasn't for Vulpix, I would probably say Chikorita was the cutest Pokemon in the franchise. It is just so freaking adorable. Like, I love Totodile, but Totodile's like goofy cute. Totally different thing. He wanted to talk to that one before he fought it. Alright. And I've already checked ahead of time. I have 4 friend balls. So I can have these in the Pokeball of my choice. Now, granted, I guess the friend ball doesn't work as well because it's shiny isn't green. So while it worked perfectly well with shiny Bulbasaur, because shiny Bulbasaur is more green, it doesn't really matter. I'm using them because its original color scheme is green, and I think it fits nonetheless. Yeah, for those I haven't told the story to, pretty much Squirtle was my first starter with blue version, and then at some point I ended up switching from a Squirtle fan to, which I mean I'm still a Squirtle fan, of course, but I switched from a Squirtle fan to being Bulbasaur, and then as far as I can recall, I think that's why I chose Chikorita, because I was a Bulbasaur fan. But I may have honestly just chose Chikorita for the reasons I said, because it's fucking adorable. And Bayleaf is adorable too. Meganium is the... Bulbasaur, over here. Meganium is the least appealing of the 3, in my mind. Chikorita is the cutest, and then Bayleaf, and then Meganium. But I still like Meganium. And obviously, Cyndaquil is my favorite starter to use in Gen 2. So it's... I guess I should back up. So basically, when it comes to Gen 2, I like all 3 of the starters almost equally. Chikorita, I love all 3 of its evolutions, or all 3 of its stages. And it's a fun Pokemon to use in a Let's Play. Cyndaquil is my favorite to use because I like Cyndaquil, I like Quilava, I like Typhlosion. We're not going to touch on the recent leak trash. We're gonna ignore all that. And Typhlosion is just really good. Solid stats all around. And, I mean, Meganium isn't bad. It's a defensive Pokemon, and that's not really my playstyle. But, man, these things are so hard to see with the short grass, or with the tall grass. But if we're talking just the basic forms, the starters you choose from, Totodile is my favorite. Totodile is my favorite, mainly thanks to Ash's Totodile, and then they kind of went with making every Totodile a goofy little troublemaker, and so Totodile's just been my favorite because he's just a goofy little dip. But Crocona's hit or miss for me. Sometimes I like Crocodile, sometimes I don't. Some of the sprites weren't that great, and then of course some of the TCG art was really not great. Same thing with Feraligatr. Feraligatr's Gen 2 sprites are awful. Easily makes Totodile's evolutions like the worst ones, which really sucks because Totodile's Gen 2 sprites are fucking amazing. So all three of the Johto starters are favorites of mine for specific reasons. Chikorita because I adore all three of its evolutions. Cyndaquil because it is my favorite to use to play with in game, and Totodile is just my favorite as far as the base forms go. And I do plan to obviously hunt all of the starter Pokemon once I have outbreaks for them. It's so much harder to hunt them without outbreaks. I mean, sure, I did with Bulbasaur, and that's why I have my shiny Venusaur that I played there. See, look at that is the little way it runs. The way its little leaf flaps around. It's so adorable. But I have this Bulbasaur, and then I have another one because as soon as I had the ability to hunt shiny starters, as soon as I had the ability for these starters to be catchable in the second DLC, I made it my goal. I set up, did sandwiches. Actually, it only took one. I did a level 3 grass type sandwich. Is it grass or it may have been poison? But there's a spot on top of these rocks like I'm looking at somewhere around here in the DLC that just grass or poison, whichever I did. The only Pokemon that would spawn was Bulbasaur, and so I ended up getting 2, and I used one of them. I only had one friend ball at the time, and so that's the one that is in my. That's the one that I used in my playthrough for me to finish playing the DLC. This one that I'm using right now is in, I believe, a Nest Ball because it's still a green Pokeball, and I wanted to color coordinate it regardless, but obviously I was using the Friend Ball one. I haven't done it in a while because I kind of stopped messing with Pokemon Scarlet for just a little bit because I really wanted to do Wi-Fi stuff, but I couldn't get myself to do it because it is so. It's a level of competitive stress that I don't enjoy putting myself through. Like, on the one hand, I love battling with Pokemon, and I love building a team and doing all that shit. But the biggest issue is the RNG is so unreliable. Low rolls, high rolls, crits, the chances of like paras and other hacks, and it's just like, it's so unforgiving. And not having any level of control over that, and just like when you lose to something stupid, when you otherwise had a victory, it's so, what's the word, demoralizing, and you just don't want to do it. Like, it's so, like, one loss is okay, you just like shake it off, whatever, start over. But more than one, and it's like you're really, it feels really hard to come back from. And now that they do this stupid team preview shit where you see pretty much everything, it's just like, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I want to, but at the same time. Alright, I think what I want to do, I had this idea already. I love Chikorita. It's so damn cute. All right, so we're gonna I'm gonna show you guys. This is how I've usually been doing my hunts. And I found this to work several times. So this is kind of like, it's been tested and it has seen success, but I can't really say that it's it's not, it's proven, but it's not guaranteed, if that makes sense. So what? How many points do we have? We have 45. Okay. In flight in the canyon biome. No, don't do that. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Canyon biomes over here. Damn Turtwig. I'm so not interested in you. Oh, you're gonna want to battle because you're a little bitch. Alright, I want to go... over there. So, over this way that we're going is where you can find Skarmories. At which I'll definitely be hunting a Skarmory over here at some point. And you could do this without an outbreak. Just set up like a level 3 encounter sandwich for steel types. And I don't think there's any other steel types that spawn over here. I don't quite remember if there are, but I don't think so. Trico. Another Trico. Fly, damn it. Fly, you fucker. They walk like raptors. Yes, I see you. Hi. Come on, damn you. Okay. Altaria works. Fly, you dumb fuck. Did that work? Get away from me. Okay, I'm gonna have to take Bulbasaur out from in front. What is this? It's Rampardos. You fucking literally can't even see my shit. I love how shiny Skarmory looks. It's like Scizor. Like, shiny Scizor looks fucking amazing. In flight. Okay, so still not. Alright, well. Oh, jeez, never mind. Alright, I know it's going to take me forever to get where I'm trying to get. Does Geodude count as in-flight? It does. Oh, he turned around and saw me. Alright. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Alright, so we scared it. Caught it off guard, whatever, surprised it. You gotta terrestrialize while I kick your ass. Ow. My neck popped. Like, right at the base of my skull, too. Damn, I just realized that just fucked everything, because Bulbasaur... Oh well, whatever. It's whatever, I don't care. I doubt I'm gonna want a second Bulbasaur, or a second Venusaur for anything, so... If I choose to, I'll just reset it, it's whatever. I've got to get a third one anyways, so that I can have an Ivysaur. So maybe this one may not even get used, and I don't know. It doesn't matter right now. So what I usually do, get 150 battle points, and go to the cafeteria at Blueberry Academy. I always save it right before, because what you're going to do is you're going to talk to this chef, and you're going to order the Academy Special, because it gives Sparkling Power level 1 to all types. So this is going to give you an increased shiny chance along with the increased shiny rate that an Outbreak gives you. Now this won't be as good per se as doing like a sparkling level 3 sandwich, but I'll be fucking honest, outside of when I used the one that I used in Area 0 and got my my shiny Raichu and my shiny Sandy Shocks. The only time I think that's the only time I've had the sparkling sandwich work. Otherwise, I always use the I always just use a level 3 encounter of whatever type. Because for some reason, the sandwich ones just don't work. And so it's just wasting Herba Mysticas for no fucking reason. Now, the only unfortunate part is you do have to, travel back to your Outbreak once doing this. So it will burn it off just a little bit, but not a whole lot. Now, the reason you do this before you start your Outbreak is because you've got to take out so many Pokemon. And in that time, they're going to be respawning. And so I've found that the chance of a shiny popping up while you're, knocking out the required amounts to reach the max shiny chance, I've had more shinies pop up this way than if I were to just do it afterwards. I guess it's because they're respawning in, and since they're respawning, and it's also increasing the shiny rate, it's increasing the chance of those respawns being shinies. It doesn't always work, but this is how I have, this is what I do when I get Dunsparce outbreaks, which I need to find another one. But this is what I do, and it's the best way to farm an outbreak, because outbreaks have a specific amount of Pokemon to them. And you have to knock out I don't remember if it's. I don't keep track because I don't count the individual things. I just watch for the messages. But you either have to knock out 60 total or it's 90 total. I don't remember. I think it's 60. But the point being that there's a fixed number of Pokemon for an outbreak. And so once you get to that point where it's like there's not many left, and that's when you know you have the maximum shiny chance. You still only have so many. And when you're catching them, that's when you catch Pokemon, it's also taking away from that shiny chance. Or not the shiny chance, it's taking away from the encounter chance. So the more you're catching them, while it's not going to change visibly on screen, but what's going to happen is basically you'll hit a certain amount that you have either KO'd or captured, and regardless of which it is, once you hit that number, the outbreak will disperse. There can literally be Pokemon there in front of you, and it's like, oh, I didn't kill them. And it's like, well, no, you didn't. But even catching them, if you catch enough of them, the outbreak will still disperse. I've had that happen, and it sucks because it's like, well, damn, they were right there, and I could have kept resetting, but nope. There is a fixed amount, and once you exceed that amount, bam, they're gone, no matter what. The only other thing you could do is restart from a last save point and see if you can get more. But that's kind of about it. So it's kind of a situation of take what you can get or see if you can get more. A lot of times when I do like a sandwich, even like the level 3 encounter sandwiches, I will do I'll basically see what I can get, and if I'm not happy with, like, if I only get one shiny, for example, then it's like, well, I could probably get more than that. Especially if you're using a level 3 sparkling sandwich, you better not, unless it's a Pokemon you desperately want as a shiny, or it's something you have unsuccessfully found after several attempts. It is not worth saving just for one shiny when you could just do it again and find more. How do I zoom in? I guess you don't. It's adorable, though. Okay, well, you woke up. I was going to take another picture, but you ruined it. But yeah, it's kind of like attempting to like count cards, for example, for your shiny success rates. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's why I said it's definitely a proven theory, because I have done it several times, but it's still not guaranteed. It's just a thing that it very well can happen. And Bulbasaur, stop. It's definitely a thing that can happen, and if it does, great. And if it doesn't, well, try again. Oh, Bulbasaur is almost dead. What did you fight that almost killed you? Because I know it wasn't no damn Chikorita. I saw the Deerling, but Deerling's grass, and I mean, Bulbasaur's got part poison, so that definitely shouldn't have been a thing. Now, ideally, I'd like to get more than 3, just in case I wanted like some trade fodder, or if You know, somebody I knew wanted a shiny Chikorita. I know I know so many people hate on Chikorita, but at least it'd be a shiny, right? Plus, for those who are attempting the shiny decks, like to make a shiny living dex or whatever. That's kind of what I'm doing, and that's what I was talking about before with Scarlet and Violet, or rather with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I, I didn't have the kind of success with shiny hunting in that game that I really felt like I would be able to do a living dex. I will still try for the ones that I can't get shiny in Scarlet and Violet. Same thing with Sword and Shield. Like I had 2 shinies in Sword and Shield, and it was a shiny Jolteon and a shiny Jigglypuff, and those were Pokemon that I caught from those freaking Max raids, or not Max raids, the Dynamax Den, whatever it was called, the thing that was part of the second DLC where you could get, you know, shiny, you battle all the legends and get a shiny legendary. For a second that looked yellow to me, and I was like, wait a second, why is he killing it? But I know I know for a fact they can't kill shinies. But then again, after I broke the game the other day, I wouldn't put anything to chance. But shiny hunting in this game, it's just, I've had so much more success with it, and it kind of sucks because when the game came out, and, you know, beat the story, and it's like, okay, cool, now go around and start doing all these outbreaks and such. I had a lot more success than the other people I know that were playing. In fact, one of them got so demoralized by it, he just gave up. He just quit. He said, fuck it. Which is a shame because he did well his first few attempts. Not to my success level, but you know, he had a Slowbro outbreak, and I believe that's where I have my shiny Slowbro from. Is from doing a trade, because he had slimy fucking A, can I stop that? Shiny Slowbro. And I had a Dragonair. It was either Dratini or Dragonair. I think it was Dragonair outbreak. And so I got a couple shiny Dragonairs, and he got a couple right there. I know you can't see it because it's literally hidden in the grass. Okay, see, there are not many left. See, now, didn't Bulbasaur, did he kill another one? But anyway, so he, you know, I was like, hey, yo, you catch me another Slowbro, and I'll catch you a Dragonair, and we'll just trade them. Look at this. I love this. Oh my god. I love it. I love the way it hops on its little feet, little leaf. Yeah, it's adorable. Okay, that's kind of annoying that it still didn't do anything. I could do an Herba Mystica sandwich. And I might, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see if I have any success with this method, because the thing is, I don't want to just use them. I mainly intended to use them for specific purposes, like going to shiny hunt the Paradox Pokemon in Area Zero. But as I learned, because I did it and I got 2 shiny Great Tusks, again, the level 3 encounter sandwich works just as well. So, the only reason it would be I would really need to use them would be for if I was playing with someone who had Violet, which of course I had people that had Violet, but whatever. And we were to do the thing where you play together, which allows you to catch the version exclusive Paradox Pokemon in Area Zero. And so I would have done that to get, shinies of like Iron Valiant, Iron Thorns, but otherwise it's not really necessary, and I haven't found any real success using HM sandwiches. So I still have them, and I know you can do the raids and stuff, but I don't do the raids that much. Pokemon, unfortunately, it's always been a thing for me where it's a solo game. I mean, they even made it to where you can play with up to 4 people together, and you can all run around and you do basically what I was talking about. And you can go in Area Zero, and you can catch the version exclusive Paradox Pokemon, and that's cool, but I just don't have friends that stick with it long enough. And so it just kind of becomes a moot point, and it's like it's just not a thing. And that's why on my channel is constantly Halo Master Chief Collection. There was the occasional Halo Infinite. There's Star Wars Battlefront, because I have a couple friends. I have one of my longtime childhood friends and his younger brother, and we play that shit together, and it's like that's all I got that I can play multiplayer stuff with, because Pokemon just hasn't been that thing, and I don't really see that changing. And I mean, I have the not the absolute newest. I don't have Mario Party Jamboree, but I have the All Stars version. Great game, really fucking fun to play. Don't have people to play with. I can't stand playing a game like that with NPCs. But playing with real people is great. But it's like, again, I don't have those people. The people I'm friends with that have a Switch don't have it and don't want to spend the money to get it. So it's like, okay, well, we can't play that. And I don't even really mean just for like, for me to make content of us playing this. It'd also just be because it'd be fun to play. But I don't have those people. Then I have the people that would play it, but they don't own a Switch. And I mean, a Switch ain't cheap. And if you don't have a whole lot of reason to use it, yeah, I agree. There's no point in buying it, even if you were to play something on it at a regular consistency. Like Justin and I, we used to play Fall Guys, and Fall Guys is fun. It's a really fun, just stupid little goofy game, and it gets competitive, but you can't take it too seriously because it's Fall Guys, right? And even Battlefront, like we take Battlefront somewhat competitively, but not to the same level as Halo. And Halo's just always been one of those things because it is Halo. And so I'm pretty sure I just saw a Chikorita just sink to the bottom of the... Okay. Halo's always been one of those things just because it was always the game my friend group played. We never did Call of Duty. We never did, any other shooters or anything like that. Our multiplayer games during game nights where we'd have anywhere from 4 to even... At one point, I'm pretty sure we had like 16 people. We had 4 fucking Xboxes hooked up with 4 players on each one. And, that shit's fun as fuck. But we always did like Halo, or we did Star Wars Battlefront, the old Star Wars Battlefronts. We never had any... We didn't have any other games, so it's like Halo was just built in to be the most competitive thing I played. And so I'm really, really competitive at it, and my friends encouraged that kind of behavior, and I'm not necessarily the most proud of it at times, but I don't want you going off and fighting that damn deer and getting damage. So, there's only so many things. Fucking stupid deer. I didn't even see the damn thing. Come on, not this shit. Energy ball, that's gonna do absolutely fucking nothing to me, you loser. Get out, get away from me. Thanks. And so, yeah, there's not a lot of things to play with other people. And unfortunately, my attempts to do Soul Links and Pokemon Versus and stuff have all fallen through. Like, legit, at one point, we had in the works a 4-player Nuzlocke Versus series. And that shit, it just fell through. Like, sometimes people just aren't reliable. And it's one thing for it to be like, we didn't play this past weekend because, well, I was out of town doing some stuff, hanging out with Justin, and so, whatever. We didn't... By the time we got back, it was a little late to start anything. The week before, Justin and I played. Evan was MIA. And so, I don't, we're all adults, so it's like every weekend isn't necessary. It would be it's kind of like it's appreciated, because it gives you, a couple hours to ignore whatever bullshit the week has thrown at you. But, shit happens. It's whatever. But when you just kind of have people that it's like they're all in for a specific plan and then bail. And it's not even a thing of bailing, like, temporarily. Like with Evan. Okay, he was gone for, it was 2 weeks that we didn't, whatever. Guess what? Hopefully this coming weekend, he'll be damn down to play something, because he hasn't for a couple weeks. But when you go through the hassle of organizing shit, setting it up, I mean, I had to work on getting all the ROMs set up, getting all the layouts going, organizing a 4-player layout for the various games that we were discussing doing these verses for. And that's a lot of coordination, and that was a lot of my time wasted that I don't know what else I would have done with that time, but something. And that's why I kind of haven't really attempted to do anything else. Like, I had a friend that wanted to do some Friends with Golf, or Golf with Friends, And it's like, okay, well, it's you know, I checked it out before, and it's like I would have played it, but I just didn't. I had to find the time to do it, and they weren't willing to. Like their time and my time of availability wasn't really compatible. But it's like if it became available, yeah, sure, I'll play. But I don't have the ability to just completely shun all of my daily responsibilities. And so, like daytime. And so it becomes a thing where it became a thing where it just wasn't plausible. But I was watching the some of the crew of Achievement Hunter play it not too long ago, and I was like, the game looks fun. It's just some goofy, silly shit. I've never been a golf fan, but I've always been a putt-putt fan, and this Golf with Friends is kind of more or less like that. And so I was like, you know what, I'll play it, but at the same time, it's like the people that wanted me to play it completely ghosted. I've heard nothing from them in a while, and it's like, even when I made attempts to, get my computer and shit working again so that I could then, get back to playing games and doing content and whatever, and then it's like, yeah, I would have attempted to find time to do that again, but I wasn't getting the same level of I don't know if dedication is the right word, but dedication. And so it just became a thing again where it's like, well, I'm just kind of stuck to doing stuff on my own, and there's only so much there is to do. Like, yeah, new Pokemon game comes out, I'll play it. Still do randomizers and whatever else. It is so bright here, it's so hard to see the Chikorritas. I love how I gave away my secret, basically, to how I usually hunt outbreaks, and now it does not seem to be working. So I think I'm going to try restarting, and I think we'll do it with an HM sandwich. And we'll see what happens. Because I do need to get my Chikorita, and I may as well grab 3 at the very least, so I can have 1 of each. I can always hunt it again, even without an outbreak, by just kind of making your own with those sandwiches. But the increased shiny chance right now is what I don't want to give up on. And I totally would, if I had the people to play it, I would totally find a way to make getting Mario Party Jamboree more affordable. And then that way I could play it with other people. But not the case. And then Fighter Z not Fighter Z, wow, that's many years back. Sparking Zero just came out, and it's like, again, I guess you could say with Fighter Z, it's like I had friends that were going to play it. They played the beta, and then they just were like, nah, I don't feel like it. So I never bought Fighter Z, because I was going to, but I didn't have people to play it with. And playing a fighting game like that, I don't enjoy playing online. Fighting games online aggravate me, because there are people that are better than me at fighting games, and I can accept that. I can't accept repeatedly getting my face punched in when I can only do so well. And Sparking Zero is the same thing, but actually fucking worse, because Sparking Zero, I don't even have something I could play it on. I have my PC. My PC is not playing Sparking Zero. No fucking way. I have a, PS4, Xbox One. But I don't have a new console because I don't have a reason to play on the new console. So, no, I gotta bring up how to do this. I don't know if I have it saved. I know I did at some point. But it's like, again, and that's that's a different kind of irritating because Sparking Zero, it's like I wanted it, especially because I was a diehard Budokai player back in the day. And granted, I could only play it with friends at friends' house because I didn't have a PlayStation growing up. I had an Xbox. And when we weren't playing Halo, that was definitely a game we played, but then they kind of stopped making them for several years. So I was interested in this, especially because we were going to have all the cool characters like Goku Black and other characters, but I didn't have anybody to play it with, so it wasn't going to matter. And I didn't feel like dropping $500 for a new PlayStation just for one game. And then a couple of my friends went ahead and scooped it, and I don't even know what I know one of them was playing on PlayStation 5. I have no idea what the other one was going to play it on. And they may have... I don't know, but then it became a point of like, well, it's still $500 I have to drop on it, and I don't have the $500 to drop on it. I could make it if I managed to sell some of my collection, but it's still a lot for one game, and a game that, again, fighting games, they're fun until they're not for me. Halo I can play for hours. Fighting games, it really depends on the fighting game. I used to be able to do that with Dead or Alive, but that was way back in the day. And Soul Calibur, kind of. But the only fighting game, if you can even call it a fighting game, I've been able to play for consistent hours was Smash Bros. And again, that's not something I really played online. I am looking for the stuff to make a sandwich. One jalapeno, one chili sauce, one salty, one sweet. Okay, let's try that. Oh, there it is. One jalapeno. Next. One chili sauce. One salty, one sweet. Oh, wait, no. Hold up, fuck. Wait, I forgot the sauce thing is in the... Well, fucked that up, didn't we? God damn it. Well, that's fucking aggravating. And now I gotta go back. I also only have a specified amount of whoa, hold up. Is that one shiny? No. I only have a limited amount of Herba Mysticas to use because I haven't done any raids in quite a while, and so I don't really have any Herba Mysticas to work with. I mean, I have some left from previous raids, but let's look around, make sure. Alright. And so it especially bothers me when a recipe requires me to use 2 of the same Herba Mystica, because it's like, well, I already don't have that many as it is, so can we not? Now it said 1 salty and 1 sweet, right? Yeah, which were, I mean, like, I have fucking 7 bitter, and I have 5 spicy, but the ones that I usually need are salty and sour, and it's like, yeah, that's not helpful, because those are the ones I have the least amount of. And there's, of course, nothing to this sandwich. There's no substance whatsoever. A couple slices of jalapeno, a giant fucking loaf of bread, and then some freaking herbs slapped on it. Watch the way Polly Toad eats it. Goofy little frog. Alright, let's see if this worked. Sparkling grass 3, encounter grass 3. Alright. Let's do it. Oh, come on. So this controller I have, it doesn't really have any drifting issues. Not like my GameCube controller or my Joy-Cons. But it does still like to just, like, when I stop, as you just saw, it just has me stop in a random direction, and it's not usually the direction that I need it to stop me in. I'm trying to go about this a little bit faster since we have the... See, right there. Why I'm not... There's nothing over there. That's a giant rock. And I mean, I know what color shiny Chikorita is, but the lighting on this is really awkward in this area. Yep, there it is. Just has me throwing my Pokemon out in a random direction that doesn't fucking do anything. But yeah, I definitely know what shiny Chikorita looks like. I just don't know how apparent it is in this game. So I'm gonna check real quick because I already have a Cerebi tab pulled up anyways. I don't know what I was using it for. Yeah, so its shiny color is actually really subtle in this game. I mean, it's definitely still noticeable. Like you shouldn't have any issue being able to tell the difference, but it's not as obvious as, say, like the older games with sprites. Like if I go back to Gen 7, it's fairly noticeable. Geez, so many of them. Alright, I'll just work down the line. See, plus I can see the friggin' sunlight reflecting off the Chikorita's leaves, and it kind of makes them look discolored. And I know it's not the right color. So like if you go back to Gen 5, which is what I'm looking at right now in Cerebi, Chikorita's body is a much brighter yellow than it is in like Gens 8 and 9. The leaf is about the same oranginess, but it's still fairly easy to tell. And of course, as being grass, it is still going to bring these stupid deer out. But, you know, that's just what you're stuck dealing with. Nope, stop it. I really wanted to do this one on stream too, just because I like doing shiny hunts, and I like being able to commentate them. And a lot of times my shiny hunts have to be, you know, without my audio, because I can record footage of anything throughout the day. Doesn't matter what it is. But my audio is a little bit less of a chance of that, just because the daytime, my house does not have the best level of quiet. And it's unpredictable when it can. So, like, when we do a stream with the boys, and we stream some Battlefront, or we stream some Halo, it's pre-planned. It's planned ahead of time so that we can all have the most optimal settings to play and stream in. So, that's not something I can just whip up in the middle of the day and just be like, oh, look at this outbreak, I want to stream it. No. That's not an option. Are you gonna... But for the Kanto and Johto starters, I wanted to do this just because they are my favorite starters. And while, yeah, I like some of the others, I like Mudkip, I like Piplup and Turtwig, Rowlet. I somewhat like Grookey. And then obviously I like Fuecoco. But there hasn't been a set of starters that I've liked since Gen 1 and 2. And I don't dislike not Chicory, Torchic or Trico. I like both. I like their starter final evolutions, but not as much, and not as much as I like Mudkip and Swampert. So that took 8 minutes. We'll see if we can get a couple by doing picnics, but if not, then I'll just have to start over again. But yeah, I mean, so they're always going to be my favorite sets of starters, and depending on my mood, depending on the day, I will say I prefer the Johto starters over Kanto or vice versa. It just kind of depends. Because I started with Kanto because that's all there was. And so Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle are iconic. And they are special for a reason. But, I mean, if you were there back in the day with Gen 2, the little bit of, like, info that they leaked and the shit we would see in magazines and that being all we got, it was a different time than it is now. And it was so cool seeing that. It was so hype. Gen 2 was just such a revelation back in the day. And I'll defend Gen 2 to the fullest. Yeah, the level curve in the game was kind of not as good, but I'm guessing they did that because they thought Gen 1 was too difficult. Because Gen 1 was difficult for anybody starting that was new to Pokemon. And so I guess they were trying to kind of lower that, but they lowered it too far. And so that's what a lot of people like to hate on, unless they're just like, oh, Chikorita sucks, that's why Gen 2's trash, because Chikorita's trash, and they're just word vomiting whatever the loud minority of the community likes to run its mouth with. And so that's kind of, you hear the same stupid complaints over and over again, and that's it. And, Bulbasaur and Squirtle being my two favorite starters. Charmander, I love Charmander. And I love Charmeleon. I don't love Charizard as much because the fan base has kind of just ruined the image of Charizard. And so has Game Freak with the way they've just, Pokemon Nintendo, whatever, with the way they've handled it. Like, fucking, why did the champion of Galar, why was his starter a Charmander, right? Why was his ace Pokemon a Charizard? That makes no sense. I didn't get the option to have a Gen 1 fucking starter. Why did he, It was just because we could do it. It was just because, we added Gigantamax forms, and so Charizard has one, so it has to be Charizard. And that's really annoying. So it was kind of a thing, like, I don't care. But I do still love all three of the Kanto starters as a whole. Same thing with the Johto starters. Like, they're all just great. And while I do like Feraligatr. Like, I love Feraligatr now. Feraligatr has some really dope art. And that's what's shitty. Is, like, Feraligatr is so fucking ugly and disfigured looking in his sprites in Gold and Silver. And even in Crystal. In Crystal, they fixed his colors. but he still just looks bad. They didn't give him a better sprite like they did some other Pokemon. And then you look at his art for the TCG with Neo Genesis, well, the English set. If you collected the Japanese cards, it would be Neo Genesis and then the premium file. But both of those Feraligatr cards look fucking great. And so Feraligatr has been a Pokemon that's really grown on me, but only because he looks good when he's made to look good. Croconaw is kind of the same way. Like, out of Bayleaf, Quilava, and Croconaw, I like Croconaw the least of the three. But it's not by a lot. Jesus Christ, there's so many fucking Executors. But it's not by a lot. And he's still a great design. Again, his designs in-game were a little off. But his TCG designs were good. And so it's just kind of like they just misrepresented him in the games. And so that being what people played, not that people didn't play the TCG, but, the games, I think, were more hype than the TCG was. And so it just was a bad look for him. But all three of the Johto starters are just fantastic. And yeah, they're not competitive. Well, they're not all going to be competitive. And that thing is, okay, yeah, Meganium isn't great for a lot of the gyms in Johto, but if you really look at it, and this was a video that I was going to do, that I had planned before all the hard drive shit, and it is still, I still will do it, it just, I got set back on stuff. When you look at the stats, and you look at the movesets, and everything that comes with both, or with all three starters, Meganium is actually a better Pokemon to go with in Gold, Silver, and Crystal than Feraligatr. Totodile is the worst starter in Gen 2. And it sucks to say that, but it really is. Especially considering water is the most populous type in Pokemon besides normal, I think. And so you've got all these options for good water type Pokemon, especially in Gen 2. You can get the Lapras in the cave, and granted you have to be able to surf to get to it, but there's a Lapras you can get. You can get freaking Krabby to Kingler, Tentacool to Tentacruel, Staryu to Starmie, Wooper to Quagsire. Like, there are so many, Magikarp to Gyarados if you want to go, classic. There are so many good water types that just outdo Feraligatr in Gen 2. And it has to do with the, there's no physical special split with moves. And so, because of that, Totodile is the worst of the three starters. Now, with the remakes, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Chikorita is definitely the worst of the three. And that becomes very obvious because Feraligatr can now use stuff like Crunch and Ice Punch and other, like, Waterfall, Aqua Tail. And so it becomes very different because of that. But, I mean, they're all great. All the Gen 1 and 2 starters are great. Gen 3, I think they're all great, but I like Mudkip and his evolution line. Well, Mudkip and Swampert. Marshtomp is an abomination. I like them more than the Torchic line and the Trico line. And actually, with the Torchic line, the only one I like is Blaziken. I don't like Combusken, and Torchic is okay, but Whereas like Trico, it's like I like Trico, I like Grovyle, I like Grovyle better than I like Sceptile, but again, that's kind of not as much. Gen 4, I absolutely fucking hate Chimchar. Hate it with a passion. And I don't really like Monferno either. I like Infernape. And I almost think I used to like Blaziken better than Infernape. But I think my opinion has changed in recent years. I think I prefer Infernape for a few reasons. And while Grotle and Prinplup are part of the really derpy middle stage Pokemon that I went over when I did my video on the middle stage starters, they're just weird, but their base forms, Turtwig and Piplup, are great, and Torterra and Empoleon are also great Pokemon. But that's where it becomes a thing where it's like, okay, so I can find positive things to say about all three starters in the first 4 generations. But then when it comes to... There we go. When it comes to Gen 5 and onward, that changes. I don't like Oshawott. I don't like its evolutions. I like Tepig, but I don't like its evolutions. Pignite is really awkward, and Emboar it's okay, but it's like I don't like it enough that I would want to use one. And so Snivy kind of became the only one I cared for because while Serperior is kind of weird looking, it's still not terrible. And then Servine. Servine's kind of weird looking. But then Serperior is great. I like Serperior's design. And so it kind of leaves it to where, well, that's the only Pokemon that I can use. But again, grass isn't as abundant. So, like, I'm not worried when it comes to water. There are always plenty of water types. Fire, on the other hand, not as much. And I will take Tepig over Oshawott every single fucking time if those are my only options. If Snivy's not an option, I will take Tepig. Gen 6, on the other hand, I hate all of them. I really do. I've always felt that way. I do not like Froakie. I like frog Pokemon. Like, I've got my shiny Politoed with me. I like the whole Poliwag line. And I like different frog Pokemon. I do not like Froakie. I do not like Frogadier. And I don't like Greninja. I don't think it's the cool design that everybody thinks it is. Fennekin. I liked Fennekin. I did. I wanted to like it. It's a little Firefox. And then it stood up with its second stage. And then its third stage. And it turned into like a Harry Potter furry fanfic. And I was like, I'm not about this. This isn't what I want in a Pokemon. And they kind of continued that trend of ruining Pokemon for me. Ruining cat-like Pokemon specifically. Because then you get into Gen 7. Well, hold on. I missed Chespin. I hate Chespin. It is stupid as hell looking. Its second form that I don't remember the name is even stupider. It goes from this little fucking... whatever this fucking rodent thing that it is, in like a green hoodie or whatever the hell. I don't know. And then the second one is just like it's now in an avocado or some shit. And then the third form is just a bigger form of itself that's just way uglier in an even bigger avocado with like spikes. I don't know what they were going for. Nobody can even tell me what animal it's supposed to be. And that's where the problem is. Like, okay, frog to frog. Okay, fox to fox. Sure, they're standing, but I can still tell they're foxes. What is Chespin's line? What the hell is it? Nobody is able to tell me this. And yeah, I can't stand it. And Gen 7 continued that. Now, Gen 7 did give us Rowlet, and I like Rowlet. It is a little owl. I love owls. I don't particularly like Dartrix. Its visual appearance is just not my particular style. But Decidueye is amazing. There's one, there we go. No! Yep. That happened. Well, that is only the second time I have ever lost a shiny. Literally, only the second time. I was hitting the button to save, and I hit the wrong button by mistake. And I do that every time with this stupid controller because it just... I hate Nintendo. I hate Nintendo's fucking... Why? Why does your controller have to be set up like a fucking asshole? Like, why are your buttons in the wrong places? I hate it so fucking much. Their buttons are in the wrong fucking place compared to a PlayStation controller, an Xbox controller, a PC controller, all my other controllers. But Nintendo's like, no, this button's here, this button's over here. These are swapped. Stupid. Oh man. I mean, but if I don't find another one anyways, I would have reset regardless because like I said, it's not worth using 2 Herba Mystigas for 1 shiny. 2 is maybe acceptable, and that's kind of where you just have to make up that decision for yourself. But personally, I would say 3 or more is kind of where you want to... Because, like, yeah, like I lost that shiny. Okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, I would have the catch right now, but... You know, I got 5 minutes. I'd have to find essentially 2 more. 1 maybe, and then I would see how long I could, because that's what I'll do is I'll see how long I can go after the time runs out and see if I can get a 3rd one, and if I don't, then I reset. Just because it's not worth it. It's not worth the resources. And yeah, it's kind of a bitch. Because like, oh well, now you've got to do it again. You've got to find. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter at that point. That one that I just set up a picnic and said, hey, shiny Chikorita, there you are, you're adorable, but, you know, go fuck yourself. It wouldn't have mattered because I would have reset the game anyways. So, it's not the worst thing. I'm not torn up by it. It kind of sucks because now I've had 2 Pokemon, 2 shinies I fucked up with, but I would have ended up keeping it anyways. The first one I did felt worse anyways, and that's because you can't set up a picnic in the water. So your only option is to just go far enough away from the outbreak to despawn the stuff and then go back. And the first one I lost, I think it's one of the first shiny Pokemon videos for Scarlet and Violet on the channel is where I lost it, and it was a red Gyarados. And I lost it because I was leaving the area to despawn the Gyarados and make them respawn. And it had just popped up as I got out far enough to be in a different part of the water, so it had a different actual area name on the map, and as soon as I saw it pop up, it disappeared because the shit changed, and I was like, well, that fucking sucks. I ended up catching it anyways because it's ironically enough, I went back and I kept trying, and it spawned again pretty freaking quickly, and I even went back through the footage, and I think, granted, there's no way to possibly determine it couldn't be the same one, but because Gyarados, shiny Gyarados, the whiskers on a male, or shiny or regular, if it's a male, the whiskers are the same color as the body, so blue or red. Whereas if it's a female, they're white. And so in the video from me looking at it as it disappeared from my sight, and you could see that it had white whiskers, so it was a female. And then literally the next one I caught within just a few minutes of going back to the outbreak and hunting was also a female, which I thought was cool. But even so, it's like there's no way to be like, well, it was the same one, because I mean it's all code and numbers and blah, 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 technical shit. So it's not like you can possibly make that kind of claim. Yeah, I can't see. See, I'm constantly fumbling with the buttons on this damn game. Oh, thought that muted. Well, sorry. You heard me drinking water. I'm so parched because I can't drink tap water. And I drink bottled purified water. Somebody was supposed to, give us a purifier, and that never happened. But so we ran out, and I didn't have a way to get more, and I've been trying to better the way I eat and drink. The eating part is harder to do because sometimes it's just more convenient to make certain things, and also food tastes delicious. Granted, drinks do too, but after I don't know, after a week or so, it's not that hard to not drink carbonated shit or sugary shit. So I don't feel as bad. But with food, it's like it's not even sugary shit with food. It's like I don't give a fuck for sweets and that kind of stuff. But I like me a good ass burger. I like me some good ass tacos or pizza, and so that's harder to break yourself from. But I've been doing pretty well with it. I mean, I eat some form of I eat eggs in some form pretty much every morning. And I was doing good for a while with swapping around lunch between like tuna, soup, salads, and then dinner was just kind of be like, hey, eat good food that you enjoy eating. Because I do want to better myself so that I feel better, because I'm tired of feeling like shit. And again, it's not like I don't eat shit. I don't eat junk food. I don't eat, a bunch of cake and snacks and sugary shits. It's just, I just eat a lot of stuff that it's like, well, it's not great for you. I mean, spicy shit's good for your metabolism and shit, but not everything. It's great because it tastes good. And certain spicy stuff is just hot for the sake of hot, and I don't like that shit. Like, I can handle it. I can handle some of it anyways. But it's hot for no purpose. There's no taste to it. But like jalapeno or like buffalo sauce or something, I love the flavor of it. It tastes great. But God, you can't consume that stuff that regular. Okay. See, we didn't find another one before that ran out. So there was really no point. Like, I wasn't losing anything by losing that one shiny. I guess I'll try it one more time and we'll see. And If it works, great. If it doesn't, well. Then I'll just have to try again another day. So where were we with starter talk? I think we were on Gen 7. So, Gen 7, yes. We have Rowlet. I love Rowlet. Rowlet's great. Dartrix, I don't like its style. But it's still not the worst. Decidueye is awesome. I love that it uses its feathers and shit as a bow and arrow. It's really fucking cool. The lore behind that type of owl and why it's a ghost type and everything. That's the shit that I love that Pokemon does right. Every fucking time. The lore behind certain Pokemon is just, it's always, they do something right with that shit all the time. And I absolutely love it. But, shut up. Then we got making sure there's no shinies when we appear before we set up a picnic and do what we did last time. Oh, ran right into that one. Didn't get away. Oh, okay. Come on, Chikorita. Don't do this. We got all these Chikoritas surrounding us like, you're not going anywhere. This isn't necessary. Like, yeah, you're a little bit higher level, but you're also not doing anything to Bulbasaur. Especially a Solar Beam, that's not doing shit. Now, Litten is something I take personal issue with. Because, so they kind of did this with Tepig as well. And I guess that's where the issue started, right? Was Gen 5. And again, that's where I said I don't put the first 4 gens, you can say something positive about all the starters. You really can. Gen 5 is where they ruined that. And it's kind of where they started to ruin Pokemon that stand on 2 legs that shouldn't. Right? So we had Tepig, little pig Pokemon that was cute on 4 legs, but then it evolved and it stood up on 2 legs. Why? It's a pig. Leave it on 2 legs. Now it didn't bother me as much because it's a pig, and I don't really care. But I may have liked it more. But then it really upset me, or really irritated me, and then it upset me, with Fennekin in Gen 6, and they took a fox, and it's like, if you would have just had, like, Vulpix and Ninetales, absolutely 2 of my all-time favorite Pokemon. Love the fuck out of them. If Fennekin would have stayed on 4 feet, I would have liked it. I would have not been so against Gen 6. But they decided to make it stand for the little Harry Potter shit. And I didn't like that. Well, then you had Litten with Gen 7. Awesome. Little black and orange cat. I like orange. That was already, favorable from me and my opinions on. Oh, come on, Bulbasaur. Do the do. And so then it evolves into Torracat. Great. Still a Bulbasaur. Come on. Still a cat on all fours. Yes. Maybe they learned. No, they didn't. They didn't learn at all. They made it stand up, and not only they make it stand up, but it's got like these fucking scrawny ass like chicken legs, and then it was Johnny Bravo. It was Johnny Bravo as a fucking furry, because the top was hulked out as shit, but like his fucking waist and legs were like thin as fucking sticks, and that shit it ruined it. I may have been a bigger fan of Litten instead of Rowlet had they not fucked it up, because Torracat is way better than Dartrix, for sure. But they fucked it up and they ruined it. Poplio, I can't stand. Absolutely detest Poplio. And both of its evolutions. And I know that upsets some people. I know that upsets one of our viewers that always likes watching our Pokemon stuff. And I know, and I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. The fact that it's suddenly in like it's one of the top 12 Pokemon in competitive this regulation. I saw something like that. I was going around this thing. Get away from me. It's only 58. We should be able to run. Seriously, I'm a higher level than you. Go away. That is 4 times resisted. Bulbasaur gives absolutely 0 fucks. He's looking at you like you're an idiot. Thank you. So I don't know how the fuck that thing is in top 12. There's no logic to it whatsoever. But whatever. I don't really watch competitive. I did for a little bit because I really wanted to get back into doing competitive, but that didn't pan out. So Gen 8, I don't know that I would say I was interested for. I wasn't hyped for Gen 8. So Gen 5 I was less than thrilled with, because Gen 5 is kind of where it was like a soft reboot of the series. So Black and White, you got no... Black and White, you got none of the original Pokemon. Or no, you got no Pokemon outside of Gen 5 Pokemon to use. And I didn't like that at first, because it's like, well, damn, I can't have a Gengar, or, you know, a Haunter for me, or a Raichu. I can't see. And I was bummed about that for a while. But I did eventually come around to, like, liking a lot of the Pokemon. And so it worked out fine. And, you know, Gen 5 has a special place for me because it's the generation that my wife played the most. And so I had a lot of time helping her train Pokemon and breeding and battling. And so that was fun. Gen 6 is, you know, when we introduced Mega Pokemon, and Megas were cool. I know people were like, it was the worst thing ever because blah, blah. It really wasn't. It was, if you're going to talk about any of the gimmicks the Pokemon games brought, it was the coolest gimmick, and some of the Mega Pokemon were just, their designs were just that fucking awesome. And yeah, they kept their stats and changes and whatever, but Terastallization, the Pokemon keep their Terastallization. Just because you switch them out doesn't nullify that. But then Gen 7 had the little, like, Z Crystal shit, and I absolutely hated that shit. And then Gen 8 was like, look at this, we got Dynamax. And I was like, alright, that's not... I don't like that shit either. Well, what about Gigantamax? The Pokemon's appearance changes. And I'm like, well... I'm still not a big fan of that. Some of them were okay. Like, I liked the Butterfree. I liked the Kingler. I actually liked the Venusaur. The Blastoise was cool too, but it was a little odd. But so I wasn't the most hyped for Gen 8. And starter-wise, I wasn't really that hyped for the Gen 8 starters either. I absolutely detest Sobble. I fucking hate it. I hate both of its evolutions. A Pokemon that fucking cries just for the fuck of it, and it makes everybody around them cry. Like, what is it? It's not a giant fucking onion. Like, it's such a fucking dumb concept. And I don't know who came up with that idea and thought this was a cool... Why? But either way, can't stand that fucking thing. Scorbunny, first of all, it's a rabbit that plays soccer. When you start taking things and... Well, let's back up. Freaking Sobble's Dynamax or Gigantamax final form literally has a sniper rifle on a tower. Like, what? Why in the hell? Why did we... Where did Pokemon turn into this? Like, it was bad enough that we had Litten go to Torracat, which was awesome, to then freaking Incineroar that's a dumb fucking wrestler. Like, what the hell? Why are we trying to make Pokemon more people-like? And I know it's like, well, we got Machamp, we got Hitmonchan, and we got... But... No, stop. Okay. But yes, they did that, but we don't need more of those. And so that's kind of like, that's the wrong direction that Pokemon should be taking. But then it's like, oh, okay, well now they got snipers. What? Now, oh, this one, yeah, is a soccer player. What the fucking, what? Soccer wasn't around. So unless you're going to tell me that fucking something evolved through time and like a Pokemon, a rabbit Pokemon, like, I don't know, Lopunny or whatever, branched off genetically, and we started having these Scorbunnies popping up, and they saw humans playing soccer. Like, it's not it doesn't make fucking sense. Did Pokemon invent soccer in the Pokemon world? Like, what kind of dumb shit are we talking? Raboot's just a fucking, like, this little emo kid in a fucking, a hoodie that his fur is made out of, and what? Again? Why? Also, on top of that, they're fire-type Pokemon. I want them to breathe fire-type moves. Flamethrower, Fire Spin, Fire Blast, shit like that. Not kick a rock that turns into fire. It's so just, I just don't like it. And, what is the... Cinderace, same thing. Now, it could also partially be because Pokemon Journeys ruined that Pokemon form. Like, just, the Scorbunny was a jackass, which is part of why I absolutely hate Chimchar. Because the anime did that shit to me, too. But I fucking hate Chimchar. Oh, we're not talking about Chimchar. I hate Scorbunny and its evolutions because of that. But also, again, it just doesn't fucking make any sense. And while I'm not the biggest, like, monkey fan, again, because I can't stand Chimchar, and I don't really like Monferno. I do like Infernape, though, so it's like, there are saving graces. Grookey was the option. It was the only option for me. And I mean, I guess I could have just got it and then boxed my starter, but I thought I'd give it a shot. Because I don't like boxing in my starter. Every playthrough, I try to keep whatever my starter is, unless I'm doing a randomizer and it's absolute garbo, I try to keep my starter with me throughout the entire playthrough. But, Grookey was alright. I don't really like its second form. I don't remember what it's called. But the Rillaboom, it was cool. This big gorilla-looking thing. Alright, that's cool enough. But again, it was the only saving grace as far as the starters go. See, and then we move on to Gen 9. The current gen. And you know, I had somewhat high hopes, especially because like when we first saw what the starters look like, immediately I was like, dude, Sprigatito, green grass starter cat, like abso-fucking-lutely. But I knew in my mind they were gonna fuck it up because for some reason they again. It's always cat-like Pokemon too. Like I understand, like I mentioned, Tepig started this whole crap, but then it's always, you notice it's always these feline-like starters that they keep doing this shit to. And so I knew they were gonna fuck it up. We all knew. So many of us that I talked to in the community we were just waiting to be disappointed. And I don't. There was a rumor at one point that went around online that Sprigatito's final evolution was going to be was essentially a grass saber-toothed tiger. So literally like a green Raikou. And I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely. That sounds awesome. Please, don't let this thing stand up. Let's have a green saber-toothed leaf tiger. And it will be probably my favorite starter since Gen 4. Oh, that little Chikorita's sleeping on the edge. And then sure enough, they made that fucking thing stand up, and it did. Again, it does like wizard shit. Like it even followed the same fucking weird shit that Fennekin did. Like, why? What is the obsession there? Who's the Harry Potter nerd that works for Game Freak? That's also a furry. Who the fuck is fucking this shit up? Well, I stepped on something. Yep. And Quaxley, I didn't like Quaxley. I didn't like it from the beginning. It was my least favorite starter. But then when they revealed what the final evolutions look like, I was disappointed. More so than I already was. So I was like, yeah, we're definitely not going with that. And so Fuecoco was just like, well, I didn't hate his design. He was just derpy. He was just fucking derpy, but he reminded me of Totodile. So I was like, you know what? That's probably what I'm going to go with. Assuming they don't fuck up Sprigatito's evolutions. And then after they did and they revealed the final forms, I think they revealed the final forms. I don't think they revealed the middle stages. And you know, part of me was like, don't look. Just kind of avoid the leaks or avoid the reveals because it wasn't a leak. Because it's going to sway your decision. But also, I mean, you kind of, I like the surprise factor somewhat, but the thing is with a starter, and especially like that, like, if they would have just guaranteed, if they would have just been like, look, we promise, and, you know, for whatever reason, their word would be worth a damn. But if they would have said 100% that Sprigatito stayed on all fours, I probably wouldn't have looked. I probably would have just been like, all right, you know what, I want to be surprised. But only if they did that. Only if there was some guarantee that it just didn't stand the fuck up. And Fuecoco, well, the second form, again, second forms are always so derpy since Gen 2. Well, Grovile's not, but yeah, kind of, you know, the other two were. So yeah, since Gen 2. I didn't really care for it, but I liked the whole little thing with like the egg and then eventually it hatches and you get the little fire spirit bird. That shit's pretty cool. But the third form, Fuecoco, is a giant ass gator. And guess what this gator ain't doing? He ain't standing on two motherfucking legs. He ain't. Now, I don't hate Totodile, Crocodile, and Feraligatr for that purpose, because, yes, while they were, well, crocodile slash alligators, because Feraligatr is a gator, Crocodile, I think, is a crocodile, and Totodile is a crocodile. So I don't know why the change. I mean, they're similar creatures, but they are different. But the point there is Totodile was standing on two legs from the beginning. Then so was Crocodile, then so was Feraligatr. So it didn't just stand up just to start being more people-like. Whereas, and even so, it was still a giant fucking gator. Like, it wasn't like Fennekin and Sprigatito's evolutions where they're more human-like and slender. But Fuecoco's final form, basically he went from standing on two legs to the final form standing on all four of its legs, and it's like, whoa, it did the opposite. So I immediately was all about that. And then just the fact that it's Fire Ghost, I liked its signature move. And it was kind of almost, being a Bleach fan, it was like I kind of recognized like the hollow inspiration. Now, whether it was hollow inspired is hard to say, but both, Bleach being a Japanese animation and Pokemon being a Japanese product from a Japanese company, it kind of makes sense. But it could also just be, me, well, several of us, just kind of making that kind of connection, and that's fine. But that solidified it, like, yep, I'm going with this. Sure, Fuecoco's a derpy little shit, but that's fine. Because he's not gonna fucking be a bipedal cat. Of all the things, why that? And so that's just kind of, this is how it's always been, but it's always been like that. Ever since Gen 5, it's like there's only one starter I can find for each generation that I don't hate. And even then, I like them, but only by a certain amount. And I don't want to agree with the group that's like, ooh, Pokemon has sucked since what? Because no, I mean, Pokemon itself hasn't sucked. But the starters and their designs have been kind of crappy and lazy. And that's just the unfortunate nature of it. And I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, and I don't work for Game Freak, of course, but god damn it, I did not see this ugly thing. Don't start. Don't start, you dumb little fucking deer piece of shit. Look, that did fucking nothing. I didn't even see the HP bar move. Okay, you're really getting on my fucking nerves, you little dipshit. But yeah, so starter designs, they've just kind of been, eh. I mean, legend designs is a different thing, because, like, we had some good legendary designs in Gen 5. Gen 6, they were pretty much non-existent. We had some good ones in Gen 7. Gen 8, Zacian and Zamazenta were okay. But we had the 3 Galarian legendary birds. And then this game had some great ones. And I mean, each of those games had some cool new Pokemon that they added. But starters is where they seem to go wrong every generation since Gen 4. And I don't know why. I don't know where the decision making is coming from that makes them so bad. And I'll take a Gen 3 or Gen 4 starter over, most of the other generations besides 1 and 2. And even then, it's like I'm almost at the point where it's like you could assign each of the Gen 1, the Kanto and the Johto starters. Assign them a number on a die, because there are 6 of them and there are 6 numbers on a normal die. And just roll it. And I will be content with any of those starters. Even if it's Charmander. Like I said, I love Charmander. Charizard just... Hell, I may just keep it a Charmeleon just because I like Charmeleon so much. But I won't be I won't be unhappy with any of the 6 starters. And even Gens 3 and 4. I won't be unhappy with them. I won't be as happy as if I had, a Chikorita or a Totodile, but I will be happier than having one from the other generations. I just don't know. And people are like, oh, well, Gen 1 Pokemon are boring and trash and they sucked and there's no inspiration. And it's like, but they are what they are, though. Ooh, Magneton's just magnets. It is. But some of the, Gen 7, 8, 9 Pokemon are just not good designs. Sorry. They're just not. And, I mean, Kanto is beloved for a reason. Not just because it's the first generation, but also because those fucking designs hold up. Like Gen 7, I don't like Alola Pokemon. I don't. It is one of my least favorite fucking regions. The only exception off the top of my head that is not an Alola form of a Kanto Pokemon like Vulpix or the Sandshrew line is Wishiwashi. And I love the fuck out of Wishiwashi. But that's it. Like, some of those designs are just ass. Oh, it's really shitty because it's basically just been me just ranting about, I've been looking at a different fucking... I've been looking at different numbers on my monitor. We've been streaming for about 2 hours. It is not 2 o'clock, though. I don't know where I got that, misconception, but, alrighty. So I'll probably run out this sandwich and then I guess call it. And maybe I'll try again tomorrow. Maybe I'll try again and I don't know if I'll stream it or what. I'd love to have I'd love to have some commentary with catching one of my favorite starters. But if I can't, then I can't. But now the latter half of the stream has just been me just sitting here and going on a rant about starter Pokemon and how they've been on a constant decline as far as design and all that shit goes. And this is a sparking sandwich for grass types. So there literally could have been other grass types around that were shiny, and I didn't notice because I wasn't looking for them. But I also don't give a shit because that's not what I want. So I don't care. But see, this is my point. This is what I'm always talking about with these sparking fucking sandwiches. Sparkling sandwiches. You use 2 Herba Mysticas, which are already hard to come by unless you sit there and do a fuck ton of like the high level raids. But for what? Like I'm getting nothing out of it. Like this time, I haven't even seen one shiny. So what is the purpose? What is the point? They don't. It's like they don't actually work as they're supposed to. And I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it tonight because I'm gonna finish up this sandwich and then call it. But I'm almost tempted to try tomorrow and just do like a regular like sandwich that's in the preset recipes. Find one that's for grass type encounter level 3 and see what I get, because that's what I usually use is the level 3 encounter sandwiches. Because this is ridiculous. This is a sandwich that is, the whole point to these Herba Mysticas is to increase your shiny chance. I don't think there's anything else they fucking do in the game besides, you know, moving that part of the plot along. But if they're not giving me shiny Pokemon, why the hell do I care? Why waste my time with them? Or why waste the effort trying to get more of them? And I think that's why my friend also stopped bothering to shiny hunt, because using the Herba Mysticas, he still wasn't getting anything as far as shinies go. And neither am I. And I've got hundreds of shinies in this game from all the hunts I've done. But they're not from using fucking HM sandwiches. They're from using other shits. From other methods. And I mean, including outbreaks. But even this outbreak, we've seen one, and it's the one that we would have got rid of even if we caught it anyways. And it especially sucks because I caught a bunch of shinies from other outbreaks, but I wanted to save this one so I had commentary for the Chikorritas. But, that was 2 days ago. So I've been sitting on this for 2 days waiting for the time that I could be able to do this so that I could have the commentary. And for what? I don't know when I'll have the time again. Maybe I'll be able to tomorrow night. But I don't know. I don't have any plans for Thursday or Friday. I don't know if it's Saturday or if it's Sunday. I'll be streaming with the boys, but I doubt I'll be doing it that day unless I just wanted to double down and do a fuck ton more streaming. Well, this is it for this sandwich, so last run, because there'd be no point in me even trying to, by the time the picnic animation and all that shit fucking went on, it'd be done and over with. See, and it doesn't help either that these things, since they chase after you, they don't despawn because they fucking follow you, so you're never far enough away from them to despawn. See, look at this shit. It's just a herd of adorable little fucks. But again, nothing came out of this sandwich. So what is the point? It's just a complete waste, and I can't stand it. HM sandwiches don't fucking work. But I can, and that's what's frustrating is like my party, besides the legendaries, are all shiny. this box is all shiny Pokemon. This box here. This box. This box. This box. This box. This box. This box. Like, I mean, these are all fucking shiny Pokemon. And I have shiny Pokemon. I have hundreds of them. Not these two boxes. But like so many of these are shiny because I have hunted them to have the shiny Pokemon. So I know how to do it. I know what methods work and which ones don't. But I just don't know why. I don't know why these HM sandwiches don't fucking work. I just don't. So I'm disappointed. I wanted to get some Chikorritas, especially because I have the Chimecho. I'll do that probably off stream. I like Chimecho, but I don't really necessarily care if I had commentary to it. And then I would just, try and find more, try and reset the times for some better outbreaks to hunt again. But now I can't because I'm not giving up a Chikorita outbreak until I've gotten at least 3. So, well, that's just what we're gonna leave with. It's been over 2 hours, and based on the time that I thought I was streaming for, it is definitely not the time that it actually is in reality. So we're gonna leave it here. I'll leave this VOD up for whoever wants to watch it and listen to me ramble. I might, clip it, and we'll take some of the rants, and that'll just be something I can post, and people can listen to my opinions, and you can leave your own in the comments. We're gonna go ahead and get on here though, so we'll see you guys in the next video.